everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and I have a beautiful message for you today about your ability to choose the emotion of love over the emotion of fear, which seems a little easier said than done, but with a little bit of practice, I think you'd be surprised at how much easier it gets. So this is something I've been working on especially hard these last couple years because there's several things that are really important to me. My relationship with the people that I love and the way that I walk through this life, because we all know this is temporary. We are here, we have this gift, we have every single day, and we can choose how we walk through it. And I would a lot rather be pushing out the emotion of love and the vibration of love than the vibration of fear. Because not only does it hurt me when I'm vibrating in fear, but it hurts the people around me. And everything is so much more brilliant when we keep our emotions high. So I made a quick little list for you of some of the things that you can start to do to switch your emotions into a constant state of love. And you can still go about your life. You can do all the things that you need to do, but it really changes when you keep those vibrations high. So the number one thing, and this is not going to surprise you, is to disconnect from your technology. Not all the time, but for certain periods of time every day. So if you're one of those people, the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning is you check your phone, you check your social media, you open your iPad, you open your computer. You've always got to be on, and connected. This, especially with so much that's going on and the access to the information that we have, you might be maybe caught down a rabbit hole. You might be, like as humans, we like to look at the train wreck, the fear factor. It keeps us sucked in, but there's just no reason to do that because all it really does is it just hurts you and keeps you stuck in those lower vibrations. In fact, fear is a very, very low energy and it's not productive at all. So I would just say for a certain amount of time every day, disconnect. And what I've done is when I'm done working, I will put my phone aside, I will not open my computer, and I will simply engage with what's happening in the moment, whether I'm by myself for a minute. I'm a person who's super lucky to have a husband who cooks. In fact, he does all the cooking and I do the working. But when I'm done working, now he does working too. That kind of started to sound like, oh, I do all the working and he does all the cooking. That was not how I meant that to come out. But he does do almost all of the cooking. So when the workday is over, I sit up to the counter in our kitchen where I start my day. I end my day as well because it's just such a beautiful spot to be in. And I interact with my spouse. And sometimes I'll help him cook, but most of the time I don't. Most of the time I don't want to sit there and be sucked into my phone or into my computer. It's just not the way I want to be. So if you can make a pact with yourself to disconnect for certain periods of time every day and really focus on your loved ones, the people that you're with, the situations that you're in, uh, and you don't just suck into social media or any type of other media, your life can really be different. Now, if you're a person who lives by yourself, this is still very, very important to disconnect from those things because those can keep you stuck in the emotions of fear. So put yourself first and 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 really set aside time that is time for you to be a human and not always be having things come at you that are programming you. We need to undo some of these programs. And if you think you're not programmed, trust me, I'm a programmed person too. And we want to be super strategic about the things that we let in. So it makes a big difference. Now, the second one is to keep a cool head when you're in stressful situations or you're around stressful people. And again, my goodness, this one is way easier said than done. And I have been practicing super, super hard on this. And it's been something that's actually at the top of my list because I can disconnect from technology pretty easily now. It's not even, I don't miss it. I'm not like feeling anxious because I'm far away from my phone or whatever. But being in a stressful situation or being around stressful people um, has taken some real practice for me. In fact, if you're like me, you might be one of those people who you might have a spouse or a close family member that you spend a lot of time with, and you completely disagree on politics or current world events or what's happening in the world or a way a job should be done. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you might be a person who is with someone who completely disagrees with you on some really key things that seem super, super important. And this is something I've been practicing on a super high level. And it's, believe it or not, it's finally starting to click in for me. Because, so here's the thing. My husband and I have walked through this whole pandemic on with different perceptions. And it's been really, really fascinating because to say I haven't gotten worked up and he hasn't gotten worked up would be the understatement of the decade. And I've realized that I have the ability to control my emotions. What a novel concept, right? So, it's gotten better and better and better and better because I realize that the way he believes and he realizes the way I believe has nothing to do with him. So it's not just a one-way street. It is definitely a two-way street. And I will say, to my husband's credit, he has been so much more respectful at certain times than I've been. I have, I believe what I believe. I'm super, super stubborn. And why can't you see it this way? And it's just simply people fighting over politics, right? Which at the end of the day, we get to believe what we believe and vote how we want to vote and make the differences and do what we need to do to make the world better from our perspective and the way we see it. But we don't need to fight and argue with the people in our lives, our family, our friends, even our community. Instead, what we can do is we can communicate with love and a calm, cool head, right? So I will tell you, I've been practicing this. Practice definitely makes perfect. I've been having some of the most lovely conversations with my husband while we completely disagree on things and while we're discussing things. And wow, I can't even believe what a gift this is. Uh, and obviously we love each other. We're together. We love each other. But it is interesting to go through life, especially with big world events that happen, and to look at it from different perspectives. And to me, it's been a gift because I can see, and it gives me the ability to be compassionate and empathetic and not have to be right in every situation, but I get to open my mind and look at it from others point of view. Just because I have a certain perspective doesn't mean it's the perfect right perception. It doesn't mean that. So I'm grateful that I've had the growth about this. And if this is your situation as well, um, I hope that for you as well. So along with that comes the ability to be a good listener. So if you can really sit and listen to somebody and not have to throw your 2 cents worth in, not always have to be right, not always have to have the details of what they're saying corrected. Um, this actually helps pave the way for you to vibrate in the emotion of love rather than fear, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. If someone it is telling you a story that maybe the details aren't correct, what does it matter? It really doesn't matter. And here's the thing, we all need to be listened to. We all need to have the moments where we get to get things off our chest or just tell the story of what happened to us during the day. And this is dialed in for me on several occasions over the years when I'm in the position where I need to say something or I need to tell a story or I need to get something off my chest. And the person I'm talking to doesn't let me finish or doesn't let me tell my story without jumping in with their own perspective and their own story. And it's been an interesting thing for me to witness because I don't fault them, but I realize how that makes me feel. And so I have really, really, really tuned in to what other people need, and especially when they need to be listened to. So I would really suggest that you open your ears, keep your mouth shut most of the time, especially when someone's trying to tell you something. Definitely let them know and engage with them in a back and forth to make them know that you are listening so that you can be an empathetic person, a witness in their life. An empathetic witness is a statement that I truly, truly love. We all need to have a good listener and an empathetic witness in our life. So if we can be that for others, sometimes just releasing those emotions by having a good listener you can literally flow the energy of love to these people. And just by listening and listening well, you're proving that uh, you really love them. That is like such a beautiful, beautiful gift. Now here's the last thing I'm going to finish with this with, because to me this might surprise you about vibrating in love versus fear. This has to do with our lifestyle, and in particular, the food we eat or the foods we don't eat, how much we eat, how less we eat, how much time do we go without eating? Do we skip meals? Do we do intermittent fasting? Do we go to bed sometimes without eating dinner? And not for the reason of because we're sick or whatever, but for the reason of feeling light and in our minds with clarity, without brain fog. Because think about how you feel when you eat a really heavy meal that might have a lot of maybe not necessarily good for you ingredients in it. Or maybe you might eat a really healthy meal, but you overeat and you just feel stuffed, and maybe you just want to lay on the couch and watch TV and again scroll your media or get on your computer and just scroll through YouTube. We know how we can get lost in a YouTube channel or, or whatever. So when you eat light, when you don't drink a whole bunch of alcohol every day, when you simply respect your body so that your body can have mental clarity and your body can just lightly can process the food that you eat, um, energetically and emotionally, you feel more connected. You feel more connected to who you are. You feel more connected to others. You're able to be that empathetic witness because you're not just a lethargic blob who can't deal with life because you're just simply stuffed too full. And maybe you've eaten the wrong foods and you've eaten 6 cupcakes because they tasted good, and maybe you've got a little sugar addiction going on and you just don't feel good. You can't vibrate in love when you don't feel good. You have to physically feel good. At least that's what my experience is. Maybe you've experienced something different, but that is my own personal experience. And right along with that comes staying fully hydrated. In order for our brains to work and our body to function, we have to be hydrated. So this is another thing, just click that in. Get lots of good quality sleep, and then get moments of stillness and meditation as often as you can, hopefully daily. And realize that we have free will. We have the ability to choose love over fear. And it takes putting some of these steps into place. So I hope you have an amazingly beautiful day. Choose love. It's always the best. That being said, I love you. I'm so happy to be a part of bringing messages of love and hope to you, because we are watching this big, beautiful shift in humanity. And I will tell you, it's so much more pleasant when you're vibrating in love rather than fear. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.